Patrick's Space Force Base can make Merritt Island look really tempting. You may be close enough to considering the commute, but far enough to get more neighborhood character, water access, yard space, and a very different Space Coast lifestyle than living right behind the beach. And if you're looking at Merritt Island because you're retiring to Florida, buying in a 55-plus community, PCSing to Patrick's Space Force Base, or using a VA loan near the water, I want you to hear this before you start touring homes. Merritt Island can be an incredible fit, but it's not one simple market. The right choice depends on whether you need age-qualified living, an easier commute to the base, healthcare nearby, lower maintenance, boating access, or room for family when they visit. And if you skip those questions and just search homes for sale in Merritt Island, you may find homes that match your budget, but do not actually match your life. I'm Carrie Leota, a local realtor here on Florida's Space Coast, and I help people relocate here with a clear understanding of neighborhoods, lifestyle, and trade-offs that do not always show up in the listing photos. Today, we're looking at Merritt Island through two separate buyer paths I hear about constantly. People who are 55 plus, retiring to the Space Coast, and military or veterans trying to decide whether Merritt Island makes sense for their move. Merritt Island sits between the Indian River Lagoon and the Banana River Lagoon, with Cocoa Beach and Cape Canaveral to the east, Cocoa and Rockledge to the west, and Kennedy Space Center and the Wildlife Refuge to the north. That geography is the story. You have water, nature, rocket launches, quick beach access, and a very different feel from the more master plan parts of Brevard County. It is a real island community with older neighborhoods, waterfront homes, condo options, 55 plus pockets, manufactured home communities, and single family homes that work for different stages of life. And before we go deeper, if you are researching a move here, join my private Facebook group called Moving to Brevard County, Florida. It is a good place to ask real questions, see what other people are comparing, and get a better feel for the Space Coast before you're standing in a driveway trying to make a decision. Just scan the QR code on the screen to join. Let's start with the 55 plus side. One mistake buyers make is assuming Merritt Island will look like the Villages or like a huge active adult corridor in Central Florida. That is not Merritt Island. Merritt Island does have 55 plus options, but they are more specific. You will see manufactured home communities, active adult condo options, smaller waterfront communities, and then nearby Viera if you want the larger master planned active adult feel. Island Lakes is a 55 plus manufactured home community on Woodstork Drive. It can make sense for buyers who want the Merritt Island location, amenities, social activity, and coastal access without taking on the full price and maintenance load of a single-family waterfront home. River Palms on South Banana River Drive is especially interesting because it brings in the waterfront piece. It's a 55-plus community on the Banana River with marina access for small boats. If you have been a boater for years and you're not ready to give that up, that is a very different lifestyle than a standard inland retirement community. Merritt Island Village, another 55-plus option on Banana River Inlet, with easy access to Cocoa Beach, restaurants, shopping, and the beachside lifestyle. Island Village condominiums in Central Merritt Island can work for buyers who prefer a condo format with amenities like pool, clubhouse, tennis, shuffleboard, and in some units, rocket launch views from a private balcony. So yes, there are 55-plus options on Merritt Island, but here is the local, honest answer. If your number one priority is a large, organized, single-family, active adult community with a bigger amenity campus, also compare Viera. Viera has communities like Heritage Isle, Bridgewater, and Del Webb at Viera. Those are not on Merritt Island, but they are close enough that they belong in the conversation, especially if healthcare access, social programming, and newer construction matter more to you than being on the island. The bigger question is, do you want 55-plus community or do you want retirement-friendly lifestyle? Those are not always the same thing. Some buyers want age restrictions, organized activities, smaller homes, and lower exterior maintenance. Other buyers do not care about age restrictions at all. They want a single-story home, a pool, room for family, a manageable drive to medical appointments, and maybe a dock or a water view. For those buyers, Central Merritt Island can be a strong fit. You're close to 528, which gives you access east towards the beaches and Port Canaveral, or west towards the mainland. You can reach the growing Viera Medical Corridor in roughly 20 to 30 minutes, depending on where you start. Daily errands are practical. Cocoa Village is nearby, and you still get the Space Coast lifestyle. Launches, water, kayaking, wildlife, beach days, and a slower coastal pace. Now let's talk about military buyers. If you're assigned to Patrick Space Force Base, the southern and central parts of Merritt Island are usually the more practical side to consider. From South Merritt Island, you're commonly looking at about 20 to 30 minutes to Patrick, depending on the exact address, gate, and time of day. If you're in North Merritt Island, the commute can stretch closer to 40 or 50 minutes. That may still be fine for some families, especially if you love the quieter feel of the North Island or you're balancing Kennedy Space Center access. But for an active duty buyer making the drive every workday, those extra minutes matter over a 3 or 4 year assignment. If the absolute shortest commute to Patrick is your top priority, Cocoa Beach or Satellite Beach may be closer. But military families still look hard at Merritt Island because you often get more house, more yard, and more connection to the water for the money than you may find on beachside. That matters when you have kids, pets, visiting family, or hope to buy something that still makes sense if you stay after the assignment ends. For Cape Canaveral, Space Force Station, Kennedy Center, SpaceX, Blue Origin, or aerospace work, the calculation changes again. North Merritt Island may become more attractive because it puts you closer to KCS side of the county, but you need to be specific about the exact facility or gate you will use. Kennedy Space Center is not one single front door. Contractors and aerospace employees can have a very different commute realities depending on where they report. That is why I always tell military and aerospace buyers, do not pick a home based on a broader map search. Know your commute pattern first, then narrow down the neighborhood. For VA buyers, Merritt Island can be a good fit, but property condition matters. VA loans are powerful, but the home still needs to meet property condition and standards. Old roofs, deferred maintenance, seawall issues, insurance concerns, and condo association details can all affect the transaction. That does not mean you should avoid older or waterfront properties. It means you need to evaluate them with your financing in mind before you fall in love with the view. And that brings us to one of the biggest Merritt Island topics for either buyer path, waterfront ownership. A lot of people move here because they want the water. They picture the dock, the kayak, the boat, the sunrise, the rocket launch from the backyard, and that very specific Space Coast feeling. But waterfront homes are not just pretty views, they are infrastructure. You need to understand the seawall, dock, water depth, canal access, flood zone, insurance picture, and whether the waterway works for the boat you have or the boat you plan to buy. For retirement buyers, this is especially important because you may be planning to stay in the home for 10, 15, or 20 years. A seawall that needs major work 3 years after closing is not a small detail. Depending on the wall, access, length, height, and site conditions, replacement can run from tens of thousands of dollars into six-figure territory. The goal is not to scare you away from waterfront. The goal is to make sure that you know what you're buying. Before removing contingencies on a waterfront property, get the right inspections, know the age and condition of the wall, understand permit history where available, confirm that the dock and lift match your actual use, and understand insurance before you're deep into that contract. Two homes that look similar online can be very different purchases in real life. One canal front home may have a recently replaced seawall, usable boating access, and a clear insurance path. Another may have a beautiful view, but a tired seawall, shallow access, and costs that listing photos never hinted at. So here's the simple framework I would use if you are comparing Merritt Island right now. First, decide whether age-qualified living is actually important to you. If yes, compare Merritt Island's 55-plus options with Viera's active adult communities. Second, decide whether you want water access, water views, or simply the coastal lifestyle. Those are 3 different budgets and 3 different maintenance profiles. Third, map your real commute. For Patrick, South and Central Merritt Island usually deserves a close look. For Kennedy Space Center and aerospace work, North Merritt Island may make more sense. For Cape Canaveral or beachside priorities, compare Cocoa Beach and Cape Canaveral too. Fourth, think about long-term ownership. If you're retiring, will the home still work physically and financially 10 years from now? If you're military, will it make sense if you get orders earlier than expected? And fifth, do not let that view override due diligence. Waterfront is wonderful here, but seawalls, flood zones, insurance, docks, and boat access need to be a part of the decision from the beginning. Merritt Island is not the right fit for everyone, but if your dream is a Space Coast lifestyle with real neighborhood character, access to the water, rocket launches overhead, and a location that can serve either a retirement move or a military relocation, it deserves a serious look. And if you're trying to figure out whether Merritt Island, Viera, Cocoa Beach, Satellite Beach, or another part of Brevard County fits you the best, come join my private Facebook group called Moving to Brevard County, Florida. Scan the QR code on the screen to join. You can ask questions, see what other buyers are considering, and start learning the area before you're making a decision under pressure. I'll see you in the next video.